All right, everyone. It's the last home assignment of the week. We're going to be examining a primary source here on the left, the English Bill of Rights, just a few excerpts from it. And I will also be reading to you a little bit about some background information on the English Bill of Rights, how it came to be. So your two questions for this week are short answers. Number one, in the fifth declaration, what does petition to the king mean? And number two, which of these rights do we enjoy today and why? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and read this, follow along, and think about how you're gonna answer both of these questions. The Glorious Revolution. In 1688, a group of nobles invited James' daughter Mary and her husband William to become king and queen of England. William and Mary were both Protestants living in the Netherlands. James, knowing that it was pointless to fight, fled to France. Parliament gave the throne to William III and Mary II as joint rulers. This transfer of power became known as the Glorious Revolution. Changes in government. With the Glorious Revolution, Parliament had essentially crowned the new king and queen. More important was a document that William and Mary had to sign before taking the throne, the English Bill of Rights. This document prevented the monarch from levying taxes without the consent of Parliament, among many other provisions. Decades later, the Bill of Rights was reflected in the U.S. Constitution. The Bill of Rights was central to England's growth as a constitutional monarchy, the term for a monarchy limited by law. The document's approval came after decades of dramatic changes in English government. England had rejected the concept of an absolute monarch who supposedly ruled by divine right for a monarchy ruled by law. So let's go ahead and move over to the left part of this page, the primary source, the English Bill of Rights. These excerpts from the Bill of Rights illustrate the limits placed on the monarchy by Parliament. In the document, the members of Parliament made several declarations. All right, so Declaration 1 states that the pretended power of suspending laws or the execution of laws by regal authority without consent of Parliament is illegal. All right, so Declaration 5, that it is the right of the subject to petition the king, and all commitments and prosecutions for such petitioning are illegal. Let's look at Declaration 8, that election of members of Parliament ought to be free. Some of this sounding familiar to our own Constitution and Bill of Rights. Let's move on to Declaration 9, that the freedom of speech and debates or proceedings in Parliament ought not to be impeached or questioned in any court or place out of Parliament. And finally, let's look at Declaration 10, that excessive bail ought not to be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. All right. So using this information on the right with the background information of the English Bill of Rights and looking through these English Bill of Rights, go ahead and answer questions 1 and 2. And if you have any questions or need help, just shoot us a comment and we'll help out the best that we can. And we will see you all next week. Have a good weekend.